So, please donate $5, $10, $15, $5 a protester. If we have 1/3 of the people in the comments right now donate $5 to that bail fund, we won't have to worry about bail for these protesters. It'll be covered. So if you're thinking, okay, well, hold on.
I'm going to be fully transparent. We have heard news that they could possibly arrest people on the freeway. But I feel like I'm a fucking protest and I'm peaceful and I am just exercising my constitutional right to picket and protest. I'm going to not be there as long as possible, but if you are not comfortable coming onto the freeway, you are more than welcome to stay off, like onto the on-ramp, and I'll have a little group with you.
We are blockade if you do not want to be out there with us. We are blockade if you don't want to be out there.
You don't want to be out there, we'll figure it out, just let us know. But are we scared? No! Are we scared? No! Are we scared? No! Are we going to make a change? Yes!
And to clarify to all the right-wing trolls on the comment section, I have a full-time job. I work Monday through Friday and sometimes Saturday and sometimes Sunday if you consider the fact that I'm an older brother and a son of 3. And I know a lot of other people out here in this crowd also have jobs, sometimes 2 jobs, sometimes volunteer jobs in addition to their 2 jobs. So, that's kind of an old and tired racist conservative trope. The moment you say that, you basically out yourself as a Trump supporter, and that just is a sign of low intellect, if you ask me. So keep on keeping on, you do you, but, we see right through you, boo-boo. Hold the line.
This is our red carpet? They forgot the red carpet. How fucking disrespectful. Fucking rude. It's our red carpet, SBG.
So we just got here to the entrance, the I-5 entrance going southbound. I see one Seattle Police Department vehicle at the end of the block here. We'll see what happens. I'm just gonna hold it on here and keep a watchful eye for any dangerous or suspicious activity. Of course, other than getting on the highway.
Other than playing.
Right. And I will say, there's nothing that pisses off conservatives more than activists taking up a highway. And in fact, this is the single most contentious action that I have seen among liberals and progressives and Democrats alike, right? I'm making a distinction between those 3. Where you see a clear divide in the community, folks who understand that protest is meant to be disruptive and inconvenience the greater public, versus folks who claim to be with the cause but are more committed to order rather than justice, right? You'll see it in the comment section, I promise you. Even folks who are theoretically with Black Lives Matter, who immediately will turn on the movement the moment people take a highway. It's absolutely incredible. So please be aware of that. If you are somebody who supports the movement but is easily influenced by public opinion, this is one of those moments where we draw a line in the sand and we say enough is enough is enough is enough is enough is enough is enough. You're either with us, you're against us, and it's just absolutely amazing to see people switch from Black Lives Matter to, well, they would matter if you just, you know, maybe we're a little bit more like MLK. Bitch, MLK shut down highways. Bitch, MLK was an anti-capitalist. MLK said that a riot is the language of the unheard. We're not even rioting. It's fucking 10 o'clock at night. There's nobody on this highway in the first place. But even if there were, you know folks are going to stay mad. So we are now on I-5 with our small-ass group. There are no cars. We've got some vehicles out here making sure we don't get hit in either direction. And it is what it is tonight. Word. I can tell you, I used to be terrified of taking the highway. Absolutely terrified. 2 weeks ago, I had never done it. But if you are somebody who wants to check something off your protest bingo card, I'm telling you, this is a very effective way to disrupt and earn your allyship, activist, accomplice stamp of sorts, if you will. Obviously, there's more to it than that. It's not that simple, but I highly encourage you guys to come out and piss off some white folks. Piss off the city. You know, they say that the highway is the heartbeat and the life of a city. You know, people can utilize the streets to pass through, but not actually have to engage with the city's problems, not actually have to contribute to the city's social ills. We got a lot of issues here in this city, and we're trying to address that. So, you know, whether you agree with this tactic or not, I implore you to do a little bit of research on the history of protests and disruption, and think about the Boston Tea Party, right? That's one of the cornerstones of the some of the founding moments in this country. It's based on property disruption and destruction. And of course, one of my favorite ones to reference is the Stonewall riots of 1969, which was literally a riot against police with bricks in their face, setting things on fire for a period of days. I think we're on day 35 or day 36 out here since that first Westlake action downtown. I'm not going to look at the comments because I can already imagine what they sound like, but oh god, pizza out here, hell yeah. Oh no, I'm okay, thank you, buddy. Again, it's a dead zone out here. But I think that there are cars at other exits, as you know, state troopers, etc., who are basically doing our work for us. Because if we can shut down the highway without having to put ourselves in harm's way, I'm gonna call that a win-win. So thank you, Seattle Police Department. It's the one rare moment I will thank you. State Patrol, what have you, for shutting down the highway to make sure we don't get hit. I'm sure some of you might have seen the video of that silver Ford Ranger, the white gay man who tried to run over protesters just 2 nights ago. I filmed that on live stream and put it up on Twitter. Kimberly, shout out to you. I don't think the highway is closed, but if it is, I mean, I see folks entering the highway on northbound I-5, but they're not actually on the highway itself. So it seems to me that the highway is in fact closed probably from University District to about, I'm not sure how far south, but I know that that's been a thing. They've been shutting down the highway for about maybe a 2 mile distance north and south. So again, I'm not mad at it. Amy, thank you so much for donating. I probably ignore. Yeah. Thank you, Megan Wittenberg. That's exactly right. I understand that you guys don't like conflict, right? We prefer a negative peace versus an absence of justice. So what is it? I think that's the quote. The white moderate who prefers an absence of tension versus the presence of justice, I think it is. I don't know. I'm botching the quote, but it's really important to understand. Obviously, this is uncomfortable. We don't like making people angry at us. I was one of those kids who, I wanted to be called a pleasure to have in class, K through 5, and then 6 through 8, and then 9 through 12. All throughout my academic career, even in college, I was a little brown noser. I wanted everyone to like me. Still do. But I don't think it brings people joy or happiness to be seen as these outside agitators disrupting the city. Sure, the attention is interesting, getting news articles written up about you every other day, but not me, but just like the movement. But to know that it's, highly contested and controversial, where, a lot of the public are basically saying, fuck you, go kill yourself, I hope you get run over, that takes a mental toll on just about anybody. I worked in suicide intervention and prevention, crisis intervention, for about 5.5 years. People call in all the time and tell me these kinds of stories. People they hate me. They tell me to go kill myself. I don't feel like I matter, right? I mean, you can ask anybody out here what they view their perception of the media, or how they view themselves in terms of media perception, and they're probably going to tell you similar things, because we're bombarded. All of us are bombarded with these negative comments. If you really believe that all lives matter, you wouldn't be in this comment section telling people to go kill themselves, right? If you know anything about mental health and intervention for crises, you wouldn't actually say the things you're saying. So I can't help but call up the hypocrisy. I don't believe any of you when you say that all lives matter, because so many of you are coupling your statements with, I hope you die, Black lives don't matter, go kill yourself, I hope a car runs you over, go home, you children, you don't have jobs, grow up, right? It's met with such condescension. I don't even pretend to believe that, any of this commentary is actually going to get to you. Most people listen to respond, not listen to learn, which is unfortunate, but nevertheless, we're out here. We're going to continue to be out here. And, we'd go home a lot quicker with your support, but we're going to do it with or without you. So let us know. I'm going to give a quick shout out to my homegirl. Her name is Jessie Murray. And Jessie Murray is running for the state legislature against Frank Chop. She's not campaigning right now. I know that. But I can tell you guys something. I listened in to a endorsements meeting in the 43rd Legislative District, and when Frank Chop came on to make his pitch, dead ass sounded like one of those automated phone robots. I actually had to do a double, triple take to make sure it was a real person on the other line, and it was. It was one of the most upsetting and troubling things I've ever heard in my adult, political life. The disconnect between what he had to say and what folks were experiencing on the receiving end was wild. And then we have this bright, shining, glitter, pony, sparkle, moment of joy. It just... The difference couldn't be any more striking. Her name is Jessi, last name Murray, like Ed Murray without the pedophilia, Murray. And I'm telling you guys, she shows up, she's accountable, she's accessible, and she's with the shit. So if you are in the 43rd Legislative District like I am, if you're in the greater Seattle area, please check her out. She is absolutely what Seattle needs right now. When we talk about, showing up, stop protesting in the streets. If you hate your elected officials, why don't you run for office? Bitch, this is one of those folks that took that critique, took that feedback, and said, fine, maybe I fucking will. Fuck around and find out. Jessie Murray, 2020, right? So, please, somebody pin Jessie Murray's campaign on the comments. I will pin it. I want you guys to check her out. She's dope. Period. Thank you.
No mayor, no mayor, no mayor of mine. Tell Jenny Durkin to resign. No mayor, no mayor, no mayor of mine. Tell Jenny Durkin to resign. No mayor, no mayor of mine. Tell Jenny Durkin to resign. Resign. No mayor of mine. Tell Jenny Durkin to resign.
I learned today from my friends.
I learned today that, excuse me, Mayor, I'm forgetting what the fuck her name is because she's relevant. Jenny Durkin and State Community. I've already forgotten about her. I've already been on that day. No, but I learned she vetoed the law that was going to be passed in order to not allow sweeps through homeless camps.
Come on.
She vetoed that. So
Talking to the mic.
made what just happened up at Shop unconstitutional.
Come on.
I don't want to hear these bastards' little sirens.
Come on. Big ass siren. Big
It
ass.
works now. It just decides when it wants to work.
Yeah. Say it again, please.
So she vetoed.
The batteries are going down.
She vetoed the law that was going into effect that was going to make it unconstitutional to do homeless camp sweeps
Come on.
or during the pandemic.
Fuck them.
Just during the pandemic, she vetoed that law, so it enabled them to go in and sweep and loot and take people's things, do exactly what they're arresting us for. They came in and looted and stole and disrupted property. Just what they're arresting us for. They did the same thing, and Jenny Durkin allowed that.
Such a
Now
great
she wants to say it's
Look
because
at
homeless
bitch.
camps are going to have more COVID-19. No, it's better for them to be outside in the air, more spaced apart, than to be all in homeless shelters, all packed in. Those are going to have more
Look,
COVID
Jenny
than being
Durkin!
outside.
Exactly.
Some people don't want to be in a homeless shelter. Some people want to stay outside. I just met someone who can't live in a place like that because they can't be around kids because they got drafted into the Vietnam War and were forced to kill a kid. So now they can't even live a normal life anymore.
Or their shit gets stolen in the shelter.
Or their shit gets stolen
Or
in the
there's no
shelter.
room in the
So some
shelter.
people don't make
Or
it.
there's
They
no
don't
room
want
in
to.
the shelter.
They
Shelters are all hella full.
They can't do anything else because of shit they've been through. So we can't judge them. We can't come through and sweep their camps. We can't come through and take their shit. So Jenny Durkin's gotta go. Who's gotta go?
Jenny
Who's
Durkin!
gotta go?
Jenny Durkin!
Who's gotta go?
Jenny Durkin!
Who's gotta go?
Jenny Durkin!
No justice for the homeless, as she promised when she went in, for those experiencing homelessness, and no justice for Charlene Riles. So I don't know what the fuck she went into office for.
The money!
The moolah!
The power. She's just a fucking power trip. A power whore. Excuse me. Get me off the mic.
Yes, Queen!
I had an officer try to bullshit me yesterday for 20 fucking minutes talking about we're doing the wrong thing, we can't start at the city, we have to start at the state level because the state level has all the money and blah blah blah. It doesn't matter. The state gave us our money and Jenny Durkin and our city council members decided where to go. They decided to give $410 million, I can't remember if it was 363 or 401 million dollars to the SVD and none to Rainier Beach and none to. She decided to do that, not the state.
Yeah, she signs off on the budget.
She signs up on the budget. The state gave us the money. She decided what to do with it. So we do have to start here. We have to start local. And every place has to do it. If you are not directly from Seattle and you're helping us out right now,
We love you.
we love you, but we need you to fight this fight also in your own city. We, me, Tati, TK, Elizabeth, anybody who's here that you ever see on the megaphones, we are not organizers.
Sarah, if there's reports of something happening on the Hill, I encourage you to go check out my Facebook post from a couple of hours ago. I asked for a group of live streams to be posted in the comments, and I believe there might be a few that have that outside perimeter of the former CHOP barricade. So please check out one of those, and please let me know what you find out. Thank you.
Do it yourselves.
10 people.
If we had you with 10 of your friends, 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 we could cover the entire motherfucking city and disrupt everything. You hear what I'm saying? That's what we need to do. You are all leaders. You are all organizers. You just need to do this right outside of your home. Block it for an hour or two with your car. Fuck it. If they try and arrest you for, what is it? Assembly, pedestrian assembly or some bullshit like that. Illegal assembly. It is unconstitutional for them to arrest you as long as you are picketing and protesting for your constitutional rights.
Right.
You can't just pull up and drink a beer, but you can come and picket and protest and stand in the middle of the street.
Legal.
So be a physical embodiment of the demand, rally 10 to 510 of your friends, and shut some shit down right outside your apartment. All day, every day, all day, every day, all day, every day, all day, every day.
Every day.
Woo!
Okay, listen. We're gonna have running from the police 101 right now. So some of us do not know how to run from the police correctly. I'm making a joke out of it, but I'm dead ass serious. Listen, when shit like that happens, run all in the same direction. If you see the majority of the group going straight, take your ass straight. Don't fucking cut through the alley. Take your ass straight with the rest of everybody. Let's go running from the police 101. Follow the crowd in the same direction. They can't get all of y'all.
Yeah, I'm about to say, y'all
Ain't
really
enough
y'all
of
run
them.
too slow.
Ain't enough of them. Y'all stay together, running the same direction. Ain't enough of them. Shit, they might get 1 or 2, but they can't get the whole goddamn crowd. That's not funny or nothing like that, because that really is not funny like that. It's not funny. Nobody should be able to get caught, but
you're right, though.
But for real, don't split up. This is not the fucking movie. That's how people fucking get hurt and die, like dead ass, splitting up.
Could somebody please, if you know them, post the 4 demands in a comment, and I will pin that since someone is asking what they are.
Like, follow the black people, please. We know how to get away from the police. Yes. Like, I know how to avoid getting shot. I know how to run from the police. Right. Like, we got some resources in these black people. Use them, shit. Especially when you go to the police.
This ain't rocket science, y'all.
Man, some of y'all are allies, boy. God bless your hearts. God bless your hearts, cause boy, some of y'all need to just come for a whole 8-hour class. Like, for real, because some of y'all, we say this shit.
Sorry, I need all four demands in one singular comment, and I can post one comment.
Not doing what running from the police 101. Shit.
Good call. I'm sorry. There are in fact 5. The 5th one is Mayor Durkin resigning.
Listen,
Put it on the cars.
follow the crowd and not separate. Because if you separate, can't nobody get your information and we don't know what the fuck didn't happen to you. If something happens to you, we don't know what the fuck didn't happen because now nobody know where you're at. But if you run with us and we see this shit, we can do something about it and we can get your name and make sure you're okay.
Nicole, that's really close.
Running from the police 101.
That's number 1, 2, and 3.
Follow the black
We've got hand sanitizer out here. Let me get some of that. Yes, keep it sanitized, everybody. Keep it sanitized. Thank you, yes.
No, just follow
Appreciate
the
you, thank you.
Keep following the crowd, we'll find an exit. We can find an exit. We're better off finding an exit together than separately. Like, that does... Just be where you're
Perfect.
friendly, but listen,
That's
we are
it.
better
That
off
is it.
together
Allison,
than
you
alone.
are a real one.
Don't try to find your own
Thank
exit
you.
plan
Thank you,
and
Allison.
get fucked up. And then you're just shit out of luck because you decided to go off on your own.
Thank you, M. Nicole. Thank you, Emily.
Just follow, just stay calm. I mean, well, I kind of did that myself. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Liz Faye.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, everybody. If you're curious to know what the demands are, they are pinned right there in the comments.
Just like when that shit happened at top.
And to be clear, none of those have been met. So you ask how long we're going to be out here, how long is this going to go on, when are people going to shut the fuck up and go home? Well, maybe when those demands have been met. All right? I'm talking even one demand would be a good place to start, but unfortunately we're not there yet. We are not there yet. So thank you, Mark. I appreciate you. Okay, I'm gonna grab myself a slice of pizza here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What happened? Oh, I just got some. Yeah, thank you. I wouldn't be putting my grubby fingers all up in there if I didn't. Woo. Thank you. Shout out to Diaz.
Yo, Pizza Berries, thank you so much.
You'd think that taking up a highway out here would be kind of scary, but it's like actually hella not anymore. It's wild. We're out here at the Stewart Street exit on I-5, exit 166. Got Capitol Hill to my right. We got downtown to my left. Defund SBD, how much? 50% at least. Where should that money go? To black communities. I don't remember the cadence for number 3, but it's free all the protesters. Don't forget number 4, no new youth jail. For context, there has been a quote-unquote like juvenile justice center. I think they gave it a fancier name than that, even more misleading than juvenile justice center. Being built, it's actually fully built. I think it's going to be open soon if it's not already, on 12th and Olive, which is on, or excuse me, 12th and Alder, A-L-D-E-R, which is on Seattle's First Hill Hospital District. It's sort of right in the smack dab center between Central District and First Hill. Central District is the historic black neighborhood here in the city of Seattle that was historically redlined, where black people were only allowed to live in that neighborhood, and denied home loans and all kinds of other racist policies with financial services and banking. But that's another conversation. But the new youth jail has been authorized and promoted by our King County Executive Dow Constantine since 2012, and protesters have been mad, have been out here in these streets, have been arguing both in policy and in person and in the streets, and both digitally, physically, in Olympia, you name it, they've tried it, to no avail. So I'll be damned if we don't add that to one of our list of demands out here now that there is an international movement for Black lives. So, and of course, demand number 5 is to recall Mayor Jenny Durkin. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
RN.
IRL. IRL for sure.
Joel Cootie. Oh, am I smacking my food? I'm so sorry, you guys. I am so sorry. Truly. I don't know who gave me a phone and let me live stream, but at the same time, I don't know who are these people who decided to follow my live stream. So, I'm a very biased, left-leaning, liberal activist here in the city of Seattle, born and raised in this county all my life, 29 years. I live down the street from the Capitol Hill Occupied Protest Autonomous Zone. I always joke and say I made it really far in life. I was born at the hospital all 5 blocks away. But nevertheless, this is my home. And so, who better to speak on these issues than someone who's lived here all their life, right? I absolutely love it when people in the comments section and online become subject matter experts on a place they've never even been to. As if they have the moral authority to make these sweeping generalizations and claims about what's happening here. I'm like, bitch. Have, as I think they say on Black Twitter, have several seats. That might be some slight cultural appropriation, so apologies there. But the sentiment remains. If you're not from here, please don't pretend like you are, the authority on the matter, because you're not. Let folks on the ground decide what's best for their own communities, right? Let black people decide what's best for black people and black liberation. You don't see me out here necessarily calling shots. I'm out here following the lead of black women, as are most, if not all, of the other white folks at this demonstration here today. And that's because I have no idea what it's like to be a black person in America. I can see the viral videos on Facebook and on Twitter. I can get upset and I can get frustrated and try to figure out what to do. But at the end of the day, the way in which the black community chooses to respond to their own senseless murders by the hands of the police and white vigilantes on the streets, you think of the person who killed Ahmaud Arbery when he was jogging, or Tamir Rice when he was in the park, or Trayvon Martin when he was walking home with a hoodie on. I can get upset, but it doesn't necessarily give me this reckoning in my bones and in my kinship and in my ancestral sort of being, right? It's different. I can sympathize, but I will never be able to empathize. I will never know what it feels like. So all I can do is show up and support, tell them that I will never understand, but I will always stand with you. And that's what I'm trying to do out here, and that's what I hope y'all decide to do either tonight or tomorrow night or the next night or the next night or the next night. Because if you've watched any of these live streams, if you've been to any of these protests, one of the resounding chants is every day, folks will be out here every day. And I hope that you're one of them. So, hey, how are you?
I'm good.
Good to see you again. You did such a great job on that little, self-walk through interview. I put it on Twitter. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, no, I saw it. Did you see how everyone in the comments was more mad that we were blocking the road than they were that somebody literally tried to run us over?
One thing I've learned, if you ever really want to harm your my own personal form of self-harm is to watch the comment section on any of your local news organizations, or truthfully any sort of controversial BLM stuff on Twitter, because it's all the same. You're gonna get the trolls. You should see the comment section in this Facebook Live. I mean, it's just disgusting. It's disgusting.
Like what kind of shit are you saying?
Oh gosh, I mean, you know what it ranges anywhere from, do none of these people have jobs, cry, laugh emoji, to, if I was out there, I'd run them over too. you know, that kind of thing.
How do you have so much hate in your heart as well?
Yeah, you know, I don't know. And these are the same people, I was just giving these people a hard time. These are the same people that say all lives matter, as if they care about all of humanity.
For the people in the streets
Yeah.
protesting for Black
Their
lives.
selective outrage is really quite something. And what I love is that they show their hypocrisy so quickly. So it invalidates the entire premise of their existence and of their argument. And I just like to, you know, to poke at them. But truthfully, the more you try to feed them, the hungrier they get. And so it's like stray cats, you know? I love me a stray cat, I do, and I will feed them until the day I die. But I need to understand that the more I do it, the more they're going to come back. You know, it's called positive reinforcement. You give them what they want, which is a reaction. They're going to show up the next time with twice as many people. So, you know, I try to moderate as best I can.
Is there any reaching them, though? People like that? Is there any?
I don't know. I would like to think so. Why else are we doing this, right? They say that we have to have our conversations with our white family members, our racist uncles, you know, etc. Our great grandma who, you know, said at the dinner table, you know what I mean? Like, I certainly have one of those. I'm sure we all do. But I don't want to associate with those people.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? I don't.
I know, that's the hard part. Balancing, like, trying to put your white friends and family in check, but then when they don't respond, like if you try to talk to them, have them see your side, and they just don't give a fuck, and they come back with anger. It's like,
yep. I follow somebody online. Her name is Ijeoma Oluo. She's a New York Times bestselling author, and she's also a North Seattle resident. And she says something to the effect of, stop, I mean, that's a nice sentiment, but stop wasting your time with your racist ass uncle. That's not going to help our day-to-day lives. What you need to do...
Instagram?
Oh, yeah, I got you. She's just like, no, devote that energy to our elected officials.
Right.
Because the amount of time you spend with your racist ass uncle, you could be emailing city council members, you could be emailing your governor, you should be on the phone with, you know, your congresswoman, whatever, and really pushing for black issues. Using your white Karen voice, using, you know, you know how to CC somebody in an email, know how to sound super official and angry, but in a legislative kind of way. Like, I've got friends that are lawyers kind of way. I'm going to make your life a living hell, elected official, if you don't listen to me. Right? That kind of shit. That's where we should be focusing our efforts, because that is what's ultimately going to shift the country. What we realize is that these people in the South, they're not going to change unless we have a fucking civil war.
Yeah, right?
We literally had to have a civil war and kill them.
But there's still people
And
that wanna
Mississippi
toast the
state flag is still the Confederate flag. I just learned that this week.
I did too.
I had no idea. Are you fucking kidding me, Mississippi? Like, ain't nobody respectable living in Mississippi that's white. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sure there are people out there on the ground who are trying to do the good work, but how has that flown under the radar for so long? Pun intended.
Yeah.
I just don't understand.
I know, I don't either. And then people have the nerve to act like racism is a thing of the past. Like, white people are like, you guys are overreacting, you know? I'm a white person.
But you know, it's like when you're a fish and you're swimming in water, you don't realize that you're wet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When white people are in America, we don't realize we're surrounded by white supremacy. It's in our monuments, it's in our statues, it's in our currency. Every aspect of our lives, right, centers whiteness, centers slave owners. And so it's hard to disentangle that from our lived experience.
It's so normal to
We don't know a world without it. So, you know, it's scary for people. And I get that, but it's like, bitch, time's up. Like,
you've had your time.
down with the monuments. Let's burn it. Let's go. If not now, when?
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I mean? So.
Good shit.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're out here giving people the real story.
Likewise. I'm glad you're alive and didn't get run over by that truck.
Me too.
All right. So we are getting off the highway.
And go back up to Broadway and Pine using the Denny Way Road and Bridge, okay? All right.
I'm liberal and ashamed of my white privilege. Well, Christopher, unless you want to expand upon that comment, I'm not going to lie. I show my ass more often than I would like to admit, but you got to give me some context here. Because there's one thing I appreciate is accountability. And I'm about as white and pasty as they come, you guys. I don't know if you can see this. So when I talk about white people, I'm definitely talking about my own people. I don't mean to separate myself like an us versus them. This is a very much so a we kind of conversation. I was also talking to another white woman. So, you know, appreciate the attempt at a call out, but I feel like anybody who's been watching my streams understands that I'm more than happy to call out my family and myself if need be. Because I'm not perfect, right? If you grow up white in America, you are inherently racist because you were educated by the United States education system, which is inherently a racist system. You talk about the winners right in the history books. Well, I forget the name of that publishing company that basically owns all the history books in the U.S. Department of Education, but it's not necessarily my fault that I was raised that way, but it is my responsibility to unlearn it, right? And then relearn sort of a broader perspective and understand what Black history means before slavery. Because my first interaction with the concept of a Black person was not in my, my community. It was in my school system, learning that in kindergarten that Black people are slaves, and then the white people freed them. As if we weren't the ones that enslaved them in the first place. So it's this really... Oh, sorry.
I know people probably think I'm a dumb suspect. It's not what it seems.
You know.
She didn't spray paint.
Try.
They gave her the bottle.
McGraw-Hill. Thank you. I think that's one example. Oh, right. Exactly. Talking about the education system. Yes, exactly. They said trigger word. Exactly. Jamie, you don't have to like me, but you will listen as long as you're on my live. Clown College. All right, bye, James. Crack babies. That doesn't seem like a very positive comment, so... Bye, Lynette. We're gonna just... Gosh, you know what?
No, I'm so disappointed.
I gotta give the conservative trolls credit. They have successfully infiltrated this live stream tonight. No, not Pearson. That doesn't sound familiar to me. White guilt is strong. Yeah, we're gonna appreciate everybody who's not a fucking white supremacist holding it down in the comments. Honestly, you guys are the real ones. Sarah Carmen, thank you. Lisa Umel, thank you. Christina Murphy, thank you. Valentine, thank you. Appreciate you.
It's like Corona. He gives it to me.
Rand McNally is also, I'm sure, connected to the racism and imperialism in our mapping system. If you don't know about our maps, you should Google Jane Elliott Maps or World Map. That's Jane, Jane. Last name Elliott, Elliot. I think 1 T, maybe 2. And then World Maps. She's that tiny itty bitty white woman with the white hair who talks about racism in schools, who did the blue-eyed, brown-eyed experiment in the 60s, 70s. Anyway, she has an incredible video on racism and mapping, and it'll just fucking blow your mind. Jessica Frost, I don't live in Chop. I live not too far from there. So it's really easy for me to just kind of walk down the street and take a peek at what's going on. But no, I do not live within the boundaries of the Chop itself. Thanks, Justin. Love you right back. Jamie Alexander, that's a reasonable question. And when we talk about violent crime, right, what does that look like in a world where we quote-unquote defunded police? I know that there are some people who want complete abolition, and then there's some people who want a divestment of resources to go towards, health and human services, that sort of thing. You think about the function of police and what they actually do. It's not necessarily preventing crime. It's responding to crime, right? So your question is a reasonable question, but unfortunately, it's short-sighted, as I believe only 2% of crimes are violent, and even less than that are like lethal crimes, right? So there's definitely room for that discussion, and I encourage you to look it up or reach out to somebody who's in the movement and do it with an open mind and an open heart, and maybe you'll arrive at some answers collectively, right? Definitely open to having that conversation. That was to Jamie Alexander.
What do we protect?
Black women.
Black hair.
Black hair.
What do we protect?
Black hair.
Black hair. I feel like I smell my shit was on fire.
Oh my God.
Girl, you know if it was on fire.
Thank you, Kimberly.
I wouldn't know. I have too much hair that I would not know.
Reagan, that question is easily answered. I hope that you just do a quick Google on why that's wrong. There's plenty of material, and there has been for a long time, about why white people can't say the N-word. So if that's your base, and that's the base in which you're coming to this conversation, fine. I won't try to publicly shame you, but please understand that conversation has been had. You need to catch up, sweetheart.
Love.
Reagan better. That was for you.
Love.
Love Trump's hate.
Love. Love.
Family.
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 Unity. 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 Equality. 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 Respect. 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 Hell yeah. Fuck SPD. Fuck Jenny Durkin. Fuck SPD. Fuck State Patrol. Fuck State Patrol. Fuck SPD.
Police worldwide.
Fuck police worldwide. Fuck Jenny Durkin.
All right, guys. So what we're gonna do here, I want us to hold a 2-minute moment of silence, and we gonna get the fuck up out of here because the cops said they want to reopen the freeway. Not getting anybody hurt whatsoever. Of course, I'd love for us to stay, but I'm not risking that shit. Okay? 2 minutes, silence.
All right, so we're gonna do a 2-minute moment of silence. I'm gonna shut up. And block the trolls. Thank you, Amber. I'll check my PMs when I can. Call now. She is waiting. Why does someone have the same name as me in my comment section? It's really weird. So the moment of silence is over. You're going to leave the highway. You know what? I'm here for some bi-curious trolls. If they're halfway in, halfway out, that leads me to think that we can convince them. I know we got a lot of brilliant, patient people in the comments section who have been with us since day one. So I'm gonna call on y'all to find the people who are on the fence and show them a little bit of grace and a little humility. Understand that we all come to an understanding of our own failures in our education and our own failures of parenting, and it's no shame to our parents, but you know, they're doing the best they can with what they've got, right? Our teachers are doing the best they can with what they've got. It's nobody's fault necessarily on an individual level. That's why we call it systemic racism. But it's all of our responsibility to dismantle it. And so if you know, and you can't unknow it. So you got to step up. You got to work together and have those uncomfortable conversations if they're willing.
Okay, guys, come on. Everyone over here, please.
We're going to get off the highway here. And
Those watching from the overhead of the freeway, you can join us. We march every day from 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. Come on, guys. Come on. We are heading out. Form a line right here.
all right.
Come on. Let's go. We are going.
So I'm going to get in the front here and make our way out. Oh my gosh, I haven't had a fake profile since MySpace. I don't know who in the comments remembers MySpace, but I was what they called a scene kid. Not that I should give any of the trolls any more ammunition, but there definitely exists some photos of me on the internet with that long sort of emo swoop haircut. And I remember it was considered a badge of honor when someone would make a fake account using your photos. And that definitely happened a number of times back in the day. Now people only do it to incite racism and racial hatred and violence, which is a little less flattering and a little more back-end work. But, you know. Ooh, one sec.
Candles, the flowers, everything. That's what it goes towards every single day. So the Venmo is TATIISWAM. Again, it's TATIISWAM. And it's the same thing for Cash App. TATIISWAM. We love you guys and appreciate your donation so much. Just a quick note on that too. We can start walking while we do this. While I do an announcement. Keep it tight, keep it close. Okay, we're gonna, like I said, wear your mask, be safe. Wear hand sanitizer, and also somebody came up to me before, I don't remember your name, I'm sorry, but I do have resources if you do want to get tested for COVID. Make sure you do. You know, I always talk about it. Just be safe.
Don't worry about folks trying to dox me. I've got security measures in place, so I'm not worried about that. I've seen the tweets in question that have a phone number and an address, but just know I've got it taken care of. I've got a handle on it, and I'm not worried. With that said, two important call-outs. One, yes, I did wear a white belt regularly with the studded belt, right? The little metal studs. And then two, the Venmo to the group of black women organizers that are out here leading this march every single day. That Venmo is now pinned in the comments. So in addition to that Northwest Community Bail Fund that I posted earlier, where we actively need to be bailing protesters out of jail, we also, and almost more importantly, need to support the work of the Black women that are out here day in, day out, every morning, every evening, every night, doing this work. So I don't know about you guys. I work a corporate job, 8 to 5 every single day, and I make somewhat decent money. And I plan on donating whatever disposable income I have to these women. I've been out here many times with these women in particular, and can personally vouch for them. They are dedicating their time, their energy, their brilliance, their hours to being out here and leading these nice, well-intentioned white folks. They're educating them, they are keeping them safe, and they're sustaining the movement. So if there ever was a Cash App or a Venmo that me as an individual who's been out here every single day for the last 36 days would recommend, or stake my name on, or attach my credibility to, it's the Venmo that I just posted in the comment right there. So it's literally so simple. I know at least 65 to 70% of you have a Venmo or a Cash App on your cell phone, and I know a good amount of you, probably 80%, are watching this from your mobile phone. 20% of you that are watching on desktop, you have your phone in your hand or in your pocket, or it's right there on the counter. So there is no reason why, unless you are in a financial hardship situation yourself, and let's be real, who isn't? We're still in a global pandemic. But if I could implore you, please, $5. $5 right now, $5 to that Venmo. There's 424 people in the comments. Do you know how far $5 would go? That's $2,000 right there. That's, for some, is a month's worth of paycheck. And there's about 5 Black women organizers out here. $5 would make a huge impact and would keep us going for at least another 2 weeks, right? One moment. What? Battery? What about? Yeah. Are you good? So in a surprise turn of events, Felipe is out here. What's up, buddy? Yeah. So, $5. I would really appreciate it, because we absolutely need to keep the pressure on. None of the demands have been met. $5 is a latte, but it's 2 weeks of sustained attention to the movement, right? And that to me is worth a hell of a lot more. I know when I came out here doing the live streaming, I didn't know what I was going to get into, but next thing you know, I captured footage of this young woman getting hit with a blast ball, and now it's been brought to my attention that footage of me live streaming is going to be used by the lawyer that has a class action lawsuit with the city of Seattle. That's potentially going to make a really big fucking difference, right? Because of just some little action I didn't think would make a difference, but I happened to capture the right footage at the right time. Not everybody's out here doing live streaming, and that's fine. If that's not your strength, that's okay. If your strength is sitting at home and supporting the movement from the comfort of your own house, that's okay. You can share the live stream. You can talk about it with your friends and family. You can donate $5. Okay? That's what I'm trying to get at here. Donate $5. I'm just going to sit here and spam the audio until that happens. Actually, there's social psychology theory that if one crazy person does something, and then a second crazy person does it, and the third, fourth, fifth crazy people, or if the rest of the group sees that first and second person do something, they're incredibly likely to join in. So my ask is, if you've donated $5 in the last couple of minutes, even if you haven't, I'm not gonna lie, even if you haven't, can you just post in the comments and say you donated $5, $10, $20, whatever it was, and encourage other people to do the same? Elizabeth Dawson, I really appreciate you. I see your profile picture, say Black Lives Matter, so I trust you. Lisa Marie, I appreciate that feedback. Thank you, Justin Peterson. Michelle, I want you to be honest, but I also... Thank you, Elizabeth. Oh, Whitney, you're amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Whitney. You know, it's just... It makes it a lot easier for us out here, because these folks can't work their day jobs and their gay jobs, right? Supporting LGBT folks, supporting black women, supporting trans folks, while also still trying to support their own income with a 9-to-5 sort of capitalist agenda. So many of us don't have the option to be out here every single day in these streets, and I know these people don't either necessarily. A lot of these people are making really big sacrifices, myself included. So, you know, let's crowdsource. $5, $10, whatever you got. It makes a big difference. I'm gonna touch base with my buddy here and see how he's doing, make sure he's okay. Give me just a moment, guys. Huh? No. But if needed, I might just end the stream, just because I know that we've got a bunch of other folks out here. Let me keep doing it for a few more minutes, and then we'll see where we're at. Are you okay for right this moment? Okay, I don't think we'll be too much longer. So that's my ride. Thank you, Melissa Meadows. Thank you, Amber Fitzpatrick. Thank you, Katie Bourne. Thank you, Nikki. I'm tech illiterate too, it's okay. Thank you, Raymond.
Let's move!
Jamie Alexander, I feel like you said something low-key, troublesome a little earlier, and now you're supporting Blackout Media. Again, I don't know them personally, but I did read the comments, and I did have an experience with them yesterday, and they led me to believe that they are out here to support police officers. So that's troublesome at the very least, and really, really, really fucking scary at the worst. So I'll leave it at that. Evan, thank you. Oh, sorry. You asked not for verbal comfort. Well, I'm gonna thank you anyway. Evan, thank you, Evan. All right. Thank you, Rihanna. You're amazing. So we got cars behind us that are making sure that we're protected. We've got cars in front of us that are making sure that we're protected. We've got the bicycle brigade that's making sure that we're protected. We've got a large group of folks out here. Again, we just took the highway for about 10-15 minutes. We had a moment of silence for the black lives that have been lost to the hands of police violence and racist white supremacy in any form. I want to be clear, any black life is tragic. The leaders are saying, stay right, stay tight. We do this every night. Thank you, Kayla. Thank you so much, Kayla. It's going to take a multi-pronged approach to get through this alive, right? Free the protesters. Support the women leading the marches. You know, donate to the mutual aid. Pizza at the precinct. Hey, hey, hey. Ow!
Justice! What do we want now? What do we want? Justice! What do we want now?
Hey, 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 hey.
Justice!
careful, 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 careful. The bus driver, hell yeah! That's awesome. Shout out to Rapid Ride. Woo! That's awesome. Hey. This particular group of black women have their protest chant game on lock. Honestly, I feel like some of them were in musical theater or choir or something, because I've been to a lot of Black Lives Matter marches and none of them have this rhythm and cadence. I'm gonna tell you right now. All right. We got the bicycle brigade. Woo! No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Please don't run me over. Fuck the police. Beep, 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 beep. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Stay tight. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. I'm gonna make sure that nobody gets hit. Again, we've seen too many times where an emboldened person in their vehicle decides to run over a protester, or at least attempt it. So I'm just gonna stay down here and monitor to make sure we've got full coverage. All right, everybody clear? We're good? All right, fantastic. Okay, we're gonna make our way up the hill here. So we got protesters out here passing out literature, making sure every single car in the line honked and got a piece of paper. So we're doing political education while disrupting. Again, we've got our cars that are out here supporting us, making sure that nobody gets hit. We've got our bicyclists out here. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah! Woo! Fist bumping the drivers, making sure they know that we're not here to, hurt anybody. We're just here to, support the cause. Nothing dangerous or harmful, not hurting anybody. In fact, a lot of the drivers are filming the interaction. Beep! Yeah! Beep, beep, beep! See, people out here are being hella reasonable. It's actually pretty cool. There's some nights, right, when you see people just got somewhere to be and they just They're full of rage. But we're not seeing that here tonight. Everybody is honking their horn, or at least entertaining the protesters. Whether they actually want to honk their horn or not, you can see they're like, all right, fine. You win. You're clearly not going anywhere until I do it, so. That's what it's about, right? That playful participation, making it fun. And giving them a little pamphlet along the way. Maybe they'll read it. Maybe they won't, but they'll certainly remember it. That's for sure. Community.